Welcome to CRJ 112. This week we're taking a look at Chapter 8, which explores social conflict and critical criminology. Now, one of the roots of criminological theory is this political economic vision that was really created by the philosopher Karl Marx. And social conflict theorists really view crime as a function of the conflict that exists in our society. They also suggest that crime in any society is caused by class conflict, and that laws are created by those in power to protect their own rights and to serve their own interest. And really, the social ferment of the 1960s really gave birth to critical criminology. Many U.S. scholars were influenced by the widespread unrest and the social change that really shook not only the United States but the whole world. Things included the war in Vietnam, prison issues, and the civil rights and feminist movements really produced a climate in which criticism of the ruling class seemed natural. So there were several influential scholars that embraced this idea that social conflict was produced by the unequal distribution of power and wealth and really was the root cause of crime. Now, contemporary critical criminologists devote their attention to a number of important themes and concepts. They look at identifying the way that social class, crime, and social control are connected. They also try to explain the role that government plays in creating this environment that's conducive to crime. They also identify the relationship between personal or group power and the shaping of criminal law. They look at race and gender bias that they believe is existent in the justice system operation. They also demystify the relationship between a capitalistic free enterprise economy and the crime rates. And they also try to show how people and institutions can misuse their political or social or even media power to control the behavior of others and then to shape public opinion. So critical criminology really views the competitive nature of the capitalist system as being the major cause of crime. In other words, the poor commit crimes because of their frustration, anger, and really the need to do so, while the wealthy engage in illegal acts because they're used to the competition and because they have to do so in order to maintain their position in society. So critical theorists really subscribe to either instrumental theory or structural theory. When we talk about instrumental theory, we're talking about those in authority are wielding their power to control society and keep the lower classes in check. Whereas structural theory looks at the justice system being designed in a way that maintains the status quo and really is used to punish the wealthy, as well as members of the lower classes when they break the rules that govern capitalism. Now, according to instrumental theory, the poor may or may not commit more crimes than the rich, but they certainly are arrested and punished more often, and really believes that the poor are driven to crime because of this natural frustration that occurs in a capitalist society. Now, structural theorists disagree with the view that the law is always working for the rich and against the poor. They actually believe the law is designed to keep the system operating efficiently, and anyone, whether they're a worker or an owner, anyone who rocks the boat is targeted for sanction and could be punished. Now, critical theorists argue that the old methods of punishment really are failing, and more than two-thirds of all prison inmates recidivate or commit crime again. They don't really believe the claims that the crime rate has dropped because the number of people in prison is at an all-time high. Also, critical theorists believe that rather than casting offenders aside, we have to find ways to bring them back into the community, which is really called restorative justice. It relies on non-punitive strategies for crime prevention and control. It also requires that society addresses victims' harms and needs, holds offenders accountable to justify or to make right those wrongs, and also to help improve the harm that was done to the victims, offenders, and the communities in the process. Now, next time we'll take a look at Chapter 9, which explores developmental theories.